How do you fix fret buzz? You know, in previous videos we've showed you a tool that's really handy called a fret rocker. And if you've got fret buzz, when you fret a string and one of the frets somewhere downstream is sticking up a bit high and the string hits that fret, you'll get fret buzz. And we talked about how you could use this tool, and it allows you to rock back and forth until you find the offending fret or frets. And what we hope we can do then is that you come in with your fret hammer, or sometimes just I put a block of wood across the whole length and tap it with a hammer and try and get it down to where you can solve that problem, and then come back at it with this and see if you've got it flat. A lot of times you can't, and you've got to come back in and you've got to knock down the high spot, so to speak. So what we sell is a fret sanding tool. It's basically a piece of aluminum bar stock, pretty rigid, pretty heavy, pretty thick, and it'll stay straight. I make sure the edges are nice and straight. When you buy this, we also give you some 320 grit, 1-inch wide sandpaper. Basically use some double-sided tape, put the double-sided tape on, put a length of the sandpaper on, and then you're ready to go. So if you've identified which fret is causing you the problem, and here in this case I put some blue tape on it so I know which one it is, what I want to come in and do is to lightly remove some material off the top. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you've got to be careful. You can't go aggressively. You can't start flattening these things out, because what will happen is it's an unintended consequence, but all you'll wind up doing is moving the problem to another part of the board. You lower this one, another one will be high. So what we want to do is we want to focus on here, and what I really like to do if I ever have this problem is to go very slow. To go very slow, what I do is I use the bar and I kind of slide from one side to the other. And maybe what I do is I only do about 3 or 4 strokes, 5 strokes, and then I'll come back and I'll actually check it. And what I did in just those 4 strokes that you saw there, I've actually fixed that problem. It's now solid, it's not rocking. So I knew that one was high, but just coming in and using this, I was able to knock down the high fret. Again, one of the things I always stress, very, very important that you do everything you can to keep your neck flat. You want it to be flat, you want it to be straight. When you put your fretboard on, you want it to be flat, you want it to be straight. You want to glue them together, you want to make sure they're solid, come back, make sure it's flat, put the frets on, get them down uniformly, secured all along the distance. And if you do a good job with all of that, those foundational activities, there's a good chance that you're going to have a nice flat fretboard. When you put it in the guitar and you start to do your setup and you move your way down through the frets and you begin to pluck the string, hopefully you won't run into the fret buzz problem. But if you do, there's a way to fix it. And again, one thing I always stress, this is really critical. A lot of the other things we do when we're building these guitars, we can get really close. This is one area that you really, really want to get close. The flatter you can get this, the better off you're going to be, the more playable instrument you have. Thanks.